Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 58 of the Small Towns
with an S.
Big God podcast. Sorry, normally our Bible study podcast, we dig into verse-by-verse discussion of the Bible, and we're not doing that this week because we're at Lake Lavon.
Camp.
Yeah, it's our yearly camp video, which is weird this time because we did not schedule our camps together.
No.
And so I brought a load of kids up to work, and
we are.
I'm not working. I'm just doing this with you, so it's good.
Yeah.
Works out good. And I'm having a iced coffee drink in the coffee shop. It's delicious. Caramel macchiato. Iced. Yeah. Josh loves these sweet coffee drinks. Yeah.
Give me black coffee.
Yeah. 37 cups a day he drinks. It's weird. But he was a cop, so what do you expect? Anyway, all right. So what are we doing besides having a good time on this couch in the coffee shop? Yeah. That is our tagline, folks. We don't know what we're doing. Yeah,
so we got to mention, though, that we are at Lake Lavon Camp, and this year was the debut of our new Camp Rules video.
It was awesome. Yeah, version 2.0.
It'd be great if we could put that in the comments. Maybe if we can finally. You think we
can
do
I've
that?
got the video.
You got the video.
It's on my phone.
Right, so don't be a Dax.
We can plug it in there.
Yeah.
No problem.
You know, today, I think students are just starting to realize that I'm Chief Security guy Josh on the video. They're not putting it together. Everybody recognizes Dax.
Everyone that comes up to me, I tell them, go say hi to Josh because he loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. But no, what we're going to do today, I think it was great. We're going to have a special guest.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking to Runks Runkles.
Yeah.
Maybe you heard of him. Maybe you haven't. I hear that people know him.
I followed him on Facebook,
Me
and
too.
I didn't even, I was like, wow,
so
there's
6,000 other people I've come to see him. So there is that. You know, and he personally knows every single one of them. Is what he told me.
Yeah.
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 So we're going to sit down with him. We're going to ask him some questions. He is a traveling evangelist. He speaks at camps all over the country, and so we're excited about that. This is the second time that I've been with him at Lake Lavon. He does an awesome job.
Well, I'm excited too because I've never heard him preach. Yeah, I've seen online obviously, but never in person.
People say that you're extra.
Yes.
Well, you're going to get along just great.
Yes, I am what the kids call extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I am a lot. Which is funny because that's your last name. Anyway, all right. Are we good?
Yeah, hang out. We're going to bring him in.
All right, here we go. And we're back.
And we are back. And like we said, we're here sitting down with Runks Runkles at Lake Lavon Camp and Conference Center. He is our speaker this week for Youth Camp.
Youth Camp
2023. Disciples, do disciples. So we're excited about that. He's given us 2 messages. We still got some more coming, and we're excited to sit down with him. And Runks, what we're going to I want you to tell us about today, if you don't mind, just kind of like how long you've been doing this, how God led you to this place, and whatever else you want to share with us about your. I know you're going to go into your testimony tonight, so I don't want you to spoil the fun on that one, but just kind of give us a tidbit of what God did with you to bring you to this position you're at today.
Okay. Well, I mean, I graduated from seminary in '91, a million years ago, and then I went to Levelland, Texas, as a youth pastor, and I was there for 7 years. And in April of '97, I went to a thing called the Walk to Emmaus, which is basically just a retreat for adults. And during that time, that's when God called me and made it clear He wanted me to go into full-time evangelism. But I mean, now leading up to that, I was I'd been traveling. My church was really cool to give me 5 or 6 weeks a year to travel and do D-Nows or camps or whatever. And I always wanted to do this, but I didn't know how you do that, And while I was there, I felt like God was telling me to do that, and I was like, I have no idea how to do this. I used to always wonder, maybe my schedule would start filling up, right, and then, my schedule's full now, I can just go full-time. It's like God didn't make it that easy.
Right.
I mean, there was nothing on my schedule when I decided to go full-time. And that was in April, and my church, First Baptist Levelland, was super-duper supportive. My pastor, I remember him saying at a deacon's meeting, he said, the most important thing in this whole situation is, and I thought he was going to say it was our students and our local student ministry. And he said it's the kingdom. He said, because we have an opportunity to launch a ministry here that could touch the kingdom. Yeah. And I was always humbled by that and blessed by that. So the church let me spend 6 months basically being my own interim and 6 months working at the church preparing to launch. And January of '98, quit my job and started traveling. And I mean, this was '98, dude. I mean, I had maybe 3 students who even had email then. You know what I'm saying?
How did you advertise in '98?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I made paper brochures, man. Like paper fold up. Went and paid someone to print me paper brochures and mailed them out to 200 people that knew me and say, "This is what I'm doing." Yeah. And then it kind of took off from there. So that was in '98, and then I've been doing it I think I've been doing it 26 years, 25 years, 25 years, 25 years. This is my 26th year traveling.
26 years. Now, let me ask you this. In your 26 years, you speak primarily to youth, the students. What has been the biggest, I guess, change, transition, different outlook on students back in '98 and students today in 2023?
There's no comparison, man. I mean, goodness. I mean, there's no social media then.
Right.
Kids didn't even have cell phones then. Their parents might have. I didn't have a cell phone.
Pager, maybe?
I traveled, dude. I traveled full-time for 3 years before I even had a cell phone. I mean, there was just – it's a different world, man. It was a completely different world. I mean, just the advent of smartphones and social media and it's everything. There's nothing that teenagers were dealing with in '98 they're dealing with now.
So would you say what would be maybe some, when you first started out, some topics that you maybe focused on and how it transitioned, and maybe what would you say your biggest message you want to convey now, and has that changed?
Well, I mean, the basics. I mean, I'm an evangelist.
Right.
Basically, what I do is present the gospel. But golly, I have a sermon I wrote in 2001, I think.
Yeah.
On identity, and and I preach that now. I've totally rewritten it, but like you couldn't even have imagined then what I'd be talking about now. I mean, boys being girls. I was going to have to address that.
Yes.
You couldn't even have dreamed that we would be at a place where that was something you have to talk about. It's astounding to me that whole how you identify stuff is just it's mind-boggling. I can't even get my head around it.
No.
And I wonder sometimes. I've thought like I'm 57. I'm fast approaching the get off my lawn years. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, am I just becoming a crotchety old guy? Back in my day, kids weren't like this. But I have conversations, and y'all do too, with youth pastors that are in their 20s.
Yes.
That are saying the exact same. So I'm like, okay, I'm not just getting old.
Right.
This generation's lost its mind. I mean, it's like I said this morning or last night. I mean, they're going to be discipled by something.
Absolutely.
And they're being discipled by TikTok.
Yes.
They just look at those reels or whatever, and just they take it in like it's the truth.
That's real life.
Whatever. I was at a camp and these kids were arguing with me. This is nothing. This is stupid. They were arguing two things. One, Helen Keller is not real.
Oh wow!
Because they saw some guy on TikTok
instead of
Helen Keller. There's no way some girl's born blind and deaf and did all blah 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 all these books, and completely serious. And another one was the argument. Have y'all heard? This is ridiculous. That birds aren't real.
Birds?
Birds aren't real. That in the 70s, the government captured all the birds and replaced them all with drones.
Wow.
And the birds are all birds spying on us, okay? Ridiculous.
Wow.
But these kids had seen it on TikTok, and they were legit arguing that was the truth. And that's harmless nothing. Mm-hmm. Think of all the garbage they're reading every single day on there and just taking it as gospel. Yeah. Boys can be girls. Okay. Yeah. You should question your identity. Okay. Just, do you feel uncomfortable in your body? Well, then you might be a boy. No, you're not. You're going through puberty. I grew 11 inches in 9th grade. You think I wasn't uncomfortable in my body?
So
goodness.
No, thank you. No,
rant, dude.
No, that's fine.
What's different? That's what's different.
Well,
you didn't have any of that stuff then.
No, you didn't have any of that stuff, and that's what I expected you to say. But just seeing it from you, who's been doing it so long, none of us have been in the ministry that long, or speaking to maybe one generation of kids, and you've spoken to several generations of kids, and just seeing a different. Maybe you have to focus on different areas. You're still focusing on the gospel and getting people saved, but then taking it home, for youth pastors or pastors and trying to disciple that, is a whole different outlook, especially when, it's like me and Dax who work with youth who come from a complete different generation. Yeah. Maybe the guy who's in his 20s has a little bit of an advantage because he's lived in the same generation as his youth. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but it could.
But being 51 and you're not quite there yet, but our life experience, I think we're more relatable in that sense because, we were talking about this the other day when we walk into schools now, right? Looking like I look and acting how I act, right? But with the life experience that goes along with that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not theologically trained. at all, right? But it's relatable to them on some level because they do want to talk.
Exactly, and it's how we come with it in our past and what we lived through. And I think you're going to touch on that tonight about some addictions and stuff that you struggled with. The same thing for both of us.
Felon cop.
Yeah, and so yeah.
He's my best friend.
It's the gospel. And I tell people all the time, the relationships we have today as Christians is because of Jesus.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with, hey, I ran into this guy. If I ever met him, I could have met him before, but it wasn't because we were buddies.
I would say there's 100% chance we came across each other because he was a cop in the town I got arrested in.
And to be honest, I know a guy. We have a mutual friend, Chris Sanders.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story about this.
Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Sanders. He's a youth pastor at First Baptist Church in Whitewright. Okay, the first time I met Chris Sanders, I worked in a jail. I was his pod officer. He was my inmate.
Yeah,
And then years later, we're serving in the same church,
and we all became friends.
Yeah, that's the gospel in a nutshell.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is. That's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I'd just like to make a recommendation before we go any further.
Go ahead.
I think you should change the name of your podcast to just Two Bald Guys. Two old bald. Now you got three old bald guys sitting here, man.
Three. We can zoom you in and it's three bald guys.
Yeah, there you go. The bald dudes. Anyway.
I know. We're good at that, Anyway, yeah, that's a good idea.
Don't be Dax.
Don't be a Dax.
Don't be Dax.
You'll have to see the video.
I got to see that video.
You got to see that.
Backstage when y'all did that. I missed it.
We can show you.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, now I lost my train of thought, but that's okay.
Sweet.
That's okay. So outside of that, how things have changed. So many years you've been doing this. You also, and I don't know if this is a recent thing, you can touch on that. I've been following you on Facebook since I met you in 2019, but you do travel all over the country.
Yeah.
This is not just a Texas thing.
Yeah.
And how's your experiences different? Maybe in the Northeast or the West Coast or those kind of things. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's nuts. I mean, I just got back. My last camp was in California.
Right.
That was the 34th state I've done events in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's nuts. I mean, I go all over the place and people ask me like, you're going to California. Oh my gosh, they're nuts out there. What's that going to be? I'm like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Because. And I love this about getting out of the Bible Belt. I mean, it's like I've done a lot of stuff in Utah, in Salt Lake City, in that area up there.
Right.
Those kids are solid. Yeah. You're not a born again follower of Jesus living in Mormon country and not know your stuff.
Absolutely, you got to defend it each day.
You got to know your stuff. You're going to get hammered every day. Mm-hmm. Kids in California, those kids were solid, man. I mean, it's not the Bible Belt.
No.
And I love it. And I say all the time. I mean, there's a lot of rural kids at this camp. Rural people are the same everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Everywhere. Oh, yeah. I mean, I do a lot of stuff in Pennsylvania. I saw this thing back during one of the elections. Red state, blue state, all that stuff. Pennsylvania's blue state, whatever. And they were saying the thing about Pennsylvania is you got Pittsburgh, you got Philadelphia. Right. All this in the middle is Alabama. And that's where I go. I go to central Pennsylvania, and all those people are just like us. They're just regular people, man.
Right.
Yeah. They're just regular folks, man. I always say the taller the buildings, the dumber the people. So yeah, I mean it's rural. There's good, godly, solid believers everywhere I go, everywhere, all over. Man, God is on the move in a lot of places. You just don't hear about it as much, or but man, it's like I said, those kids in California last week were solid, man.
Now I know that you've mentioned you've been out of the country. Have you done evangelism work out of the country? Any kind of?
I've been on mission trips to Mexico a bunch of times as a youth pastor, but then since I started traveling, I've been to Haiti and I've been to India. But Haiti was kind of there's a group called New Missions. They're kind of like, what do you call those people? Compassion International. You sponsor a kid or whatever.
Uh-huh. Right, yeah.
And they brought me over to kind of see what they were doing, and I'd be my table. I try to get people to sign up to sponsor kids. So that's why I went to Haiti for that. In India, I went there on another kind of ministry, and I got to speak a few times over there, mainly training adult leaders how to work with kids who've been through addictions and abused. I mean, because those kids, man, it is. If you've ever done any research or looked into the railway kids in India,
really?
Oh my gosh, they're kids and they're beggars on the streets at the railway. There's like rail stations, railroad trains everywhere, and these kids, they're all homeless little kids, and they all have a pimp. They got a pimp that pimps them out to go out there and beg, and like some of these pimps will cut their foot off or cut their hand off, because if they're deformed, they get more money. Yeah. And so this is kind of one of the things they did was a ministry to railway kids, and one of the things I got to do was talk to those leaders, how to minister to, how to help, and talk to a kid who's been abused, because that's what those kids have been through. I mean, it is a very different, bizarre world. I mean, there's a hierarchy of kids on the streets, of smart kids that can stay away from drugs. They kind of take control and kind of run. They're like 12 years old, but they're running stuff. They're running their crew. Yes. Yeah, and those kids eventually wind up. They're the ones when they get older that become the pimps that are running the kids. It's. I don't think they call them pimps, but you know what I'm talking.
Right, I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. It's. So I guess that other than that, but 99.9% of what I've done has been in America.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you do that, like, especially in the summer. I mean, you're almost every week you're at a camp, and
really spring and summer are my busiest times.
So what keeps you? What would I mean? Obviously, the good answer, your relationship with Christ, staying strong, your quiet time, spending time. But what keeps you going throughout a summer and a spring, week after week after week?
Two things, man. One is, like you said, my relationship with Jesus, my personal time with Him. Not getting in the flesh and not trying to go on stage in my own strength, and doing the basic stuff, taking care of my own personal relationship with Jesus. I mean, if I don't have a quiet time every day, by the second or third camp, I'm yelling at kids. You know what I mean? I'm not preaching. I'm like screaming at them. But no, but the main thing is, and the second thing, this is a question a lot of guys that ask me, like, they feel like God's calling them to do this.
Right.
Is always like, make sure you're called to do it. It's a calling.
It's a calling.
It is a calling. It's being a pastor's calling, youth pastor's calling. Being an evangelist is a calling. And like in the early 2000s, probably 5 or 6 years, I had interns, guys that would travel with me for a summer, for a season, because they felt like God was calling them to be an evangelist, so they wanted to come do it with me. And then they did. I had 4 of them. Every one of them, before we started, 100% wanted to be an evangelist. Yep. Every single one of them, after 4 months of traveling with me, was like, dude, there's no way. I can't. There's no. I don't know how you do it. There's no way. I mean, 90% of the time, I'm alone in a room.
Right.
I'm in a hotel room by myself. I'm traveling by myself. I'm on the road by myself. I'm alone by myself. But I'm suited for that. I'm wired that way. I mean, it's just God made me to this. He called me to this. I am a.
Nobody in their right mind would do this.
No. When people ask me all the time, they'll say things like, "How do you go to a camp or D-Now or whatever, and you pour your life into these kids for a weekend, and then
you don't see them no more
because they have that pastor's
absolutely
discipleship mindset that's what they couldn't imagine." And to me, I'm like, I passed the baton.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a youth pastor, I remember on Monday morning after D-Now, I'd be like going, "Oh, a bunch of kids get saved." I'm like, now I gotta process through all this,
now
sort all this out. I gotta,
Mm-hmm.
right. And I did it, but that wasn't my strong suit. It's very. My wife says my spiritual gift is love them and leave them.
Love them and leave them. Oh, coming from your wife too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'll come in for the weekend. When I'm here for the weekend, I'm going to give you everything I got.
Right.
But then I got to pass the baton to you guys.
Yeah.
And go, because I can't. If I was the kind of person who got emotionally attached to every. My wife's that way. If she did this, she'd be bawling her eyes out every Friday leaving the camp.
But I do. Go ahead.
I'm not heartless, but it's just
I know.
God, He wired me. I'm going to give you. I got all I got. I'm going to love on you, but then stick. Here you go. You guys got it from here.
And I do appreciate the fact. I want to say that you get out and you mingle with the students.
That's right, too.
And the staff, because there is sometimes you go to camp and you see the speaker when he speaks, and then you don't even know if he's still there the whole time, and then bam, he pops out again. And so I appreciate that.
Well,
fact.
thank you.
And to actually come and sit down with us, because
I mean,
this is your time. You didn't have to do this.
Well, I was a youth pastor first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I knew I had speakers who you never saw.
Right.
And I don't ever want to be the guy on the stage. You know what I mean? I want to be like, that dude had lunch with me today.
Right.
That guy wrestled me. That guy played ping pong with me or something. I don't want to be
just a face.
Relationships with kids.
Absolutely.
And I love kids. I love teenagers. I love them. I love being around them.
So maybe you have no idea to this question, but how long do you think God's going to keep you doing this? I mean, you're
57. I'll be
57 years old, speaking to students
next week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, am I going to be doing this when I'm 70? I don't. Of course, when I was 33 and I started, I didn't ever dream I'd be doing nearly 60 and be doing it.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. Probably about 5 years ago, I was like 52-ish, and I started praying, like, okay, God, I don't want to stop doing this ministry. That's where my heart is, where my passion is. But I'm like, some point, at what point are they going to stop listening to me? You know what I mean? Do I need to do something else, or do I need to just start preparing, or what do I need to do? So I just started praying. Right?
Exactly.
Well, after praying for 5 years, my ministry just kept expanding. God opening doors. I was like, I'm just beating my head against the wall. He's just like, I'm not done with you.
Right.
I told my wife the other day, man, I'm at my age, I've got some friends that are already retired. Every friend I know is talking about their retirement. How are we going to play that? How are we going to make it happen? And I'm like, first of all, I can't imagine doing nothing for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
And two, at some point, if you're going to retire, basically in my mind, I'm like, you have to be rich enough
to do that.
You're not working anymore. Yeah. How am I going to get that? And two, if teenagers will listen to me,
keep speaking.
How do I not go?
Yeah. And you really don't retire from preaching the gospel.
No, I don't. Yeah, I know. I know. I've been thinking through some of that. Because pastors said, well, this is a calling, but some pastors retire.
Right.
How do you do that? I don't know. I don't know how you. Obviously, at some point, I'm going to be a crotchety old dude, or I'm going to shrivel up and can't go, but I don't know, or just can't get out of the chair. I don't know. But I at this point, I can't imagine ever retiring. I can't imagine ever. So, but again, are they gonna listen to me when I'm 65? I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
But again, like I said, I didn't think they'd be listening to me now.
Right.
I'm always shocked.
Yeah, I know. Why are y'all listening to me? But also the thing is too, that's all these younger youth pastors. You know what I'm saying? Really, if you're 25, they already think you're old.
Absolutely,
you're old already.
Yeah.
If there's a 2 in front of your number, you're old. Yeah. So, am I wrong?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Thanks, Caleb.
Yeah.
So we're in 2023 now.
Yeah.
Just tell me, as an evangelist. Now, I'm a pastor. He's a youth pastor, and we dealt with it. We navigated through it. But as an evangelist, you kind of lost your livelihood when COVID hit.
Oh man.
How did you navigate through that? And did it take some time to pick back up? And just tell us about that experience.
It was, of course, like everything. All of a sudden, by the end of March, every event for the rest of 20 was canceled.
Right.
Every event on my calendar was gone. But then I do leather work on the side, kind of a side hustle.
Okay.
Handmade leather stuff. And so I just poured everything into that and started doing that full time. And God kind of blessed. I probably got some sympathy from that. People were like, oh man, it can't work. So we'll buy a wallet from this guy. Right. Which was a blessing. And I did that full time pretty much for 6 or 7, 8 months. But the money was good and that was great. But dude, I had something to do. My wife's a principal. She was working 900 hours a week trying to reinvent education.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And if I'm sitting in the house all day long, I can't do nothing. I'll go crazy.
Right.
So that was the blessing. But really, man, I wound up doing 5 camps in the summer of 20.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, we came to camp here twice.
Yeah. It was, and those, I would say those 5 camps are some of the best camps I ever did.
Yeah.
Because, one, those kids have been cooped up since spring break. They hadn't seen their friends, been locked up, right? So they were ready to go. And 2, it wasn't a lot of lost kids because lost parents weren't sending their kids to camp in 2020.
Right.
Every kid at camp wanted to be there.
Right.
Every one of them. I can remember worship would be over and they didn't want to leave. They weren't saying encore, but they were saying encore. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
We don't want to go back to the cabin. Play some more.
Right.
They disappeared in the afternoon. They were out hanging out because they wanted to be with each other. Those camps were. We didn't have a lot of kids get saved, like I said, because there weren't a lot of lost kids. But man, it was just a revival kind of time through that summer. It was really I don't ever want to go through all that again.
No, absolutely not.
That was a good, and I honestly think God used COVID. I think some churches. A couple of things. I think some churches were forced to move forward as far as the way they're doing things. That would have taken 20 years to get there otherwise. And another thing, I think Jesus purified his bride through COVID.
Absolutely. I agree.
You think I know some people in my church that left during COVID needed to go.
You know
what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know.
Absolutely.
And 2 things, I think the church is healthier right now than it's ever been in my lifetime.
Yes.
But you think about it, for that whole time, nobody came to church that didn't want to be there.
Right.
If you didn't want to come, you had to.
You had your reason.
When in your life have you ever seen everybody is just at church because they
wanted to be there
at church? Mm-hmm. I think the church is healthier. I think Jesus purified his bride through that. I'm not saying Jesus come back tomorrow or anything, but I think the church is healthier.
I think a lot of people live with urgency now.
I do, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Dax, you got any you want to follow up? Got anything you want to ask? Or
I'm just excited to be here. This is awesome. Yeah. I'm usually the one going, woo, and it's him
guy.
today.
Yeah,
this is
they say you're a lot.
Yeah, I'm extra.
I get that.
Yeah,
My
wife.
You are a lot.
I told my wife today, I was like, hey, you want to go with us? We're just going for the day. She goes, no, I'm good. Because she knows me. Yeah.
That's
the same. Yeah. Exactly.
This is the calmest I've seen him during a podcast.
Yeah, I'm usually fired up. I'm just sitting back enjoying the ride over here, boy. This is great. But yeah, man. Awesome. Yeah, I've got nothing to add or ask. I think this is awesome. I can't wait to hear you tonight. We're going to stay for worship tonight. Awesome. And our kids are excited. They'll be tired because I made them work all day. But
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, Runks, we appreciate it. Thank you for sitting down. Good to see you again. Glad
absolutely.
For sure.
To do this. He came out to Ivanhoe telephone area back in 2019. That's before I knew you, man.
That was before my time.
That's my
Yeah.
bad.
That was in 20.
Still, it was in 20. It was in 20.
It was still in COVID.
Yeah, it was.
We didn't know if we were going to get to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
It was in 20.
Well, maybe. Yeah, we need to work something out. We need to bring him to New Zion.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can do it.
And you did a virtual D-Now for us.
Oh, that's right.
You remember Northeast Fannin County?
Oh, dude, that's another thing, man. I will eat 10 bowls of COVID before I ever preach to an iPhone again.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the worst.
Yeah.
Ever. Sitting there trying to set up the phone in front of you trying to
No, I don't recommend that.
Oh, I hated it. I hated it.
We need to move around some.
Y'all had a good time, but I was preaching to that iPhone hating life.
Yeah, I know, right?
But we're in a live studio audience, so
there's people here.
There's people over there.
They can't see them, but there's people here.
I'm not looking at an iPhone.
Oh, look, it's Brooklyn and Austin. That's Josh's kid.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Austin's hair's falling out. Anyway.
All right, it's coming, man. Go ahead and make fun
Look
of
at
him being
him.
bald.
Look at him. This is what he's doing. Anyway. All right.
Well, so before we get out of here, can you give us your kind of signature tagline?
Jesus saves y'all.
Jesus saves y'all. Nice. All right, man. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, let's pray and we'll dismiss. How's that? All right. Father, we're thankful for this time together. We thank you for Runks' time today. It is valuable, and we certainly appreciate that, Father. We're so grateful for this camp. We're grateful for the students that make it all possible. Father, I ask that you move in their lives, that they'll go forward and glorify you in everything they do. And we pray that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Welcome to Lake Lavon Camp and Conference Center. And the first thing you are going to do here, you're going to have fun and you're going to learn about God. But we're going to do it in a structured way. I like rules. My name is Chief Josh, head of security.
Oh no, security! Security! This dude needs to go. He needs to go. Needs to go.
That's right. That's right. Look me up. I got pictures online. Just Google it. You know that little saying, rules are meant to be broken? Wrong! Rules are meant to be followed, and you're going to hear them. And the reason we have rules here at Lake Lavon Camp and Conference Center is because of people like a guy named Dax. Bro! You know, we all have a Dax. They're all in your little preteen group, your little youth group. They're little knuckleheads. They like to break the rules. We're not going to do it here. I'm going to be on you. I got the eyes in the back of my head. And here are the rules that you're going to need to follow. Rule number 1. No throwing rocks in the swim lake. These are my rocks, and my rocks stay seated at all times. This swim lake, it needs protection from these here rocks.
A few minutes later.
Hey, no throwing rocks in the swim lake.
Bruh.
Don't be a Dax.
Bruh.
I didn't even do anything.
Goody, he's literally hitting the goody right now.
Hey guys, one thing's very important here. One thing gets you put in sick call real fast. Dehydration. Hydrate. Don't dehydrate. Hashtag drink water. Rule number 2. If you got a little stomach ache, if your head is feeling a little pale, if you just haven't drank enough water, hey, go see the nurse. Nobody wants to see you be sick out here.
She's prepared. He's prepared. Whoever's in that building will be prepared to see you.
This is so not bussing.
Don't be a Dax. Ah! Oh.
Rule number 3. When it's night time and the lights are out, everyone needs to be in their bed. Sleepy time, especially where your counselors can sleep too.
2 seconds later.
Hey, get in your bed. What are you doing out there? And don't be a Dax.
Rule number 4. No eating in the bunk areas in your cabin. Nobody likes little ants, little bugs, sleeping with them, and that's just what food attracts. Little bugs. No eating in the bunk areas. Woo!
And don't be a Dax.
Bro, I didn't even do anything.
Rule number 5. Always wear your name badge. How the heck we supposed to know who you are? And you may get lost. We may need to find your mommy. We got to know your name. Of course. It's our number 1 buddy, Dax. Don't be one. Keep your name tags on. Rule number 6. No PDA. And if you don't know what that is, let's try to keep it that way. Public display of affection. Yuck, ooey, no good. We don't want that here.
Hey girl, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Because you're busting.
Don't be a Dax. No PDA.
Bro, I didn't even do anything.
Okay, folks. Public service announcement. The sun is hot. Your skin may be pale. Make sure to lather up the sunscreen. You don't want to go have to see the nurse. Hey guys, another friendly reminder. Drink your water. I know Dr. Pepper may be your vibe, but it's not going to hydrate you. Hydrate. Don't dehydrate. # drink water. Rule number 7. Very important. Never be alone in the cabins by yourself. Always have a buddy with you. Safety first. That's the number 1 thing here at camp. And don't be a Dax.
Bro, I didn't even do anything.
Rule number 8. No fireworks. Leave that to those professionals.
Ooh, I'm about to blow this bathroom up.
Don't be a Dax! Get out of there with those things. Hey!
Whoa, hey, whoa. Don't spray me, bro.
Rule number 9. No pranks. Leave those for those other camps. You know what I mean. Don't be doing this kind of stuff right here. Don't be a Dax.
Bro, I didn't even do anything. It's funny.
Rule number 10. No swimming in the swim lake without one of these bad boys. Life preservers. Safety first. Don't get in these waters without one of these. It could be dangerous.
A few minutes later.
Hey! Don't be a Dax! Put that on! Alright, rule number 11. Now this is important. No swimming without lifeguard personnel. If the chair is empty, so is the pool. So is the pool! Don't be a Dax! What are you doing? Get out of there!
I'm floating, no cap.
Bruh. Okay, we interrupt these rules for a split second just for an important announcement. Sunscreen. Get your buddy here at camp. Don't deny it, apply it. It's always good. Okay, campers, there's your rules. Now remember what Chief Josh says, head up security. Follow the rules and you're gonna have a knee-slapping good time here at Camp Lake Lavon. And the most important thing, listen to your counselors and please, please, dress appropriate at all times. Nobody...
Hey, don't be a Dax!